Well, I don't have my bell with me at the beach, so maybe we just go ahead and get started.
Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you, Rick. I asked Mitch to lead us in a prayer and pledge this afternoon.
All right, we can go ahead and bow our heads and thank you, Tammy, for sending me some prayers. This day thou gavest, Lord, is just beginning. Give us time for patience, for understanding, time to remember thoughtful deeds to do, time to believe in all fellow men, and time to perceive the value of having Rotarian friends. Amen.
Amen.
Do the pledge.
Oh, you want me to do that too? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Mitch.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got a brief agenda because we've got a special guest with us today. So I just want to get if we can get a few updates. I'm going to start with I know Susan's not on the phone. On the call. Is Jeff Norman?
I didn't see Jeff either.
Okay, and I can barely see anybody because I'm on my little phone. But can we get an update from Lorena about how the ribbon cutting ceremony planning is coming?
Cool. Oh, hello, everybody. I sent out a small update of what is in planned right now for the event. We're working around the shape and conversation around what we're going to be doing, like the scavenger hunt and things like that. We're going to be meeting next week to discuss more in detail. We still need volunteers who would like to get wet. We're getting names around, so we have fun people in the list. If you received the invite, please respond to us quickly. We're going to have food trucks at the event. We are talking about 3 right now, and yummy treats for the ice cream. The Rotary Rotary Club is going to subsidize the ice cream for the community. What else? Shirina just got back with me recently, and we have the karate group who's going to be who has confirmed that they can be at the event. So a lot of conversation around the planning, and of course the plan B, which will be, once again, a Facebook Live and Zoom link, since we're getting used to these kind of, events as well. So, but a lot of conversation around planning. Thank you to the team for being so responsive and very energetic about our event for September. So that is it from me.
Thank you. There's a lot of great work being done and a nice event being planned.
Yes,
Let's all just pray that it's actually going to happen. So something to look forward to. Joni, oh, go ahead.
Dropping every week. It seems to be getting less and less. Yeah, it's like, yeah. Right. Yes.
I think it might just be background talk.
Okay, thanks. Joni and Wayne, do you guys want to give us an update on that fun event that happened this week, the Grubs for Scrubs?
Sure, I'll start out and I'll let Wayne finish. We started out at Mercy in Perrysburg, and here are some of the pictures.
I'm working.
But it was great with Mercy, as you can see, because there were so many people. And that was exciting because you could even though we were all masked up, you could see the smiles through their eyes, how happy that they were that we brought the food that we did. And the people from Dietz, the gal from Dietz was really, really nice. Wayne, I'll let you go across the street to ProMedica. Is Wayne there?
I don't think he's on this one.
Okay. Then we went across the street, across from Levis Commons to ProMedica Urgent Care. And that was a little less exciting only because there was only one person, or a doctor that came out from there and a nurse, and that was it. But still, they were very, very happy with what we brought. And it was great that we're able to give the community like this for all the hard work that they're doing.
That's fantastic.
That's really it. It's going to be, there's going to be pictures and a write-up in the Perrysburg Messenger this next coming Wednesday.
That's fantastic, Joni. And thanks for everybody that showed up. I'm so bummed that I missed that. Does anybody else have any updates they want to share with the club?
Am I audible?
Yeah.
I did try and get a hold of Fred Danhauser last night, and I tried him a few days before, and we missed contact again. But within the next few days, I'll have contact with him. And I think he's in the same boat as me in that we don't know how to do this at all, and we don't know where to start. Who do we go to? Anybody have any ideas?
As far as, I'm sorry, Les, as far as what?
Setting up our race course.
Oh.
Hey, Les, this is Phil. I will be happy to sit down with you and Fred. Let me know some time and we can get that squared away.
Okay, thank you. Try and make that sooner rather than later.
Let me know when you're available. We'll find some time.
Thank you.
A little bit of news on the
Thanks,
pavilion.
Phil, for jumping in and volunteer too.
I can give you some news on the pavilion. They are mostly got the shell in for the construction of the restrooms. And I talked briefly with the people that were there, and they figured that they would have the basic shell together by the end of next week. They still have to do the connections for water, sewer, and light. And I'm assuming that that will take place right after they get the structure completed.
Hey, I probably have seen this, but where are the bathrooms actually go? Are they going to be behind it or underneath?
They are underneath. They are underneath the two bays closest to the tennis courts.
Okay.
So they occupy about 30%, I think, of the total space underneath the roof. It is kind of a clunky one. Well, you want my opinion, it's a very clunky solution, but we're dealing, you know, with the city, and that's what they wanted. But it looks like it will be a lovely facility. Really a feather in the cap for the community and for Rotary.
Awesome. It's exciting to see this finally coming to fruition.
I take a picture every day or two and send it to Susan.
Okay. Mitch, I don't know if Matt's on, but do you have any updates?
I do have a little bit. One, if you're still interested in doing the Rotary Golf Outing, August 14th, still looking for whole sponsors. You can, I know that some people had concerns about riding in carts with other people. If you need, we can definitely get you your own individual golf cart. I know Belmont's done a pretty good job with the entire social distancing and the way they're playing golf out there. So if you're interested, please sign up. I know we typically kind of get most people to sign up about the week before, but earlier the better. And then in addition, if you still are interested in a Rotary brick for the pavilion, feel free to go ahead and go to the Perrysburg Rotary site, and you can find the link on the website.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And anybody have any other announcements?
We are still in the phase of populating our Rotary guest speaker calendar. So if you have any recommendations, suggestions, any leads that you'd like to send over to myself or Mitchell Skatinsky, please let us know. At this point, everything, when we're talking to the speakers, it can be all Zoom until we have further information regarding possible in-person meetings.
Yeah, to your point, Ashley, I think next week, Ashley and I are going to do maybe a tour of what Caranor can do for us. Still no more news that I'm aware of on when we can reopen and gather back into our location. So more to come. Probably have more information next week after we get through the building. Thanks for that, Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay, our Assistant District Governor, Dave Dennis, I'd like to invite you up to the podium.
Virtual podium
Virtual podium.
Well, thank you for the introduction. It is my pleasure today to introduce District Governor Keith. Keith has been a Rotarian for 37 years. He must have joined when he was in junior high. In that time, he has served as president of the Tiffin Club twice, the only person in the history of the club to have done so. He served in 1997 and again in 2012. He's a Paul Harris Fellow +1. The second Paul Harris Fellowship was awarded in 2017 by then District Governor Do Nguyen for distinguished service to District 6600. In 1985, Keith was one of 5 Rotarians in Tiffin that developed the Tiffin Rotary Community Action. The annual televised event raised over $750,000 in 33 years that it ran on the local cable access channel. In 2013, Keith kicked off a program called Rotary Technology Initiative, where the club purchased 30 iPads and charging units and a security card to be used in place of textbooks at the Tiffin Middle School for science classes. Each iPad proudly carried the Rotary logo. In 2014, as past president and a member of the Tiffin Rotary Club Foundation, Keith helped encourage the club to move into supporting major international efforts. Tiffin became one of several district clubs that helped fund the Honduras Project. In January of 2015, Keith and 8 other Rotarians went to San Pedro Sula, Honduras, and began a week-long mission trip working with teenage girls at a small local orphanage. There they repaired toilets, worked on water pumps, computers, windows, and general construction. Keith was named as district governor nominee in the fall of 2017 and began his ride up the governor's line of succession, where he became Tiffin's first district governor since 1946 on July 1, 2020. Professionally, Keith has worked in radio broadcasting industry for 45 years. Currently, he is doing a local morning radio show on WBVI, too many fricatives, Mix 96.7 that serves the Findlay, Tiffin, and Fostoria markets. He recently retired from his sports and school photography business of 30 years. Keith has a great love of rescue dogs and was the chief developer of the Tiffin Bark Park project, a 1.5-acre off-leash dog park in Tiffin that in 1 year has grown to nearly 350 registered users. He serves as the nonprofit corporation's president, raising funds for the park's ongoing maintenance and improvement. Keith is a single gentleman and the father of 2 sons, Eric and John, and a 3rd son, Alan, who unfortunately passed away this past April. If we were all meeting in person, I would say right now, let's all stand and welcome District Governor Keith, but why don't we all applaud him coming in?
Thank you, David. Round of applause. It is a strange time that we live in. Bizarre, I guess, is what I would call it. We can't shake hands. We can't hug our friends. We appear on a television screen like other Rotarians, like we're on an episode of the Hollywood Squares, which for those of you that are young, that was a game show that used to be on TV. Our All Ohio Pets seminar was canceled back in March. Our district conference was canceled. We can't go to concerts. We can't go to plays. We can't go to movies. We can't go to sporting events. Our social lives, our work lives, our Rotary lives have been turned upside down. If this were a big production, this is where you would hear the audio tape running backwards as we go back in time, because I want to back up to the All Ohio Pets, and I use pets because that's the way we know it is. Most of you that have been around long enough to know that Rotary has this obsession with acronyms. PET stands for President-Elect Training Seminar. It's where all the future presidents will get together in March of the year before they become president in July, and that's where they get their final training as they become club president on July 1 of that year. It's always held in Columbus, and it has always held, at least in the foreseeable past, at the Renaissance Hotel in downtown Columbus. But I want to take you back to March of 2019. As I said earlier, the 2020 never happened, so a year prior to that. And I had just spoken on getting new members and membership and the new way the clubs could grow. Past District Governor Rex Engel then started talking about the Rotary Foundation. As literally an offhanded comment, he was asked, and then he asked the question of all the incoming presidents, how many of you know about global grants? Less than half the room raised their hand. I was floored. My head tilted like a dog that had just heard a strange noise. Was I hearing correctly that the more than half of the incoming leadership of District 6600 had no idea why we raised the billions of dollars that we raised to do good in the world? Local clubs like your club in Perrysburg, you support local groups, you support baseball leagues, you support library programs and hospital programs and drug abuse programs, et cetera, et cetera. But the real life-saving humanitarian work of Rotary is done far away from Perrysburg. It's performed in the mountains of Guatemala, the hot, humid cities of India, or the mountainous, cold villages of Mongolia. Rotary is everywhere, doing everything to help so many people, and a good number of you, including myself up till a few years ago, have no idea what it is that we really do. I tell people that I have been in Rotary for 30 years, but that I've been a Rotarian for 7. It was 7 years ago at the conclusion of my second term as president of the Tiffin Rotary Club that I helped to get our board of directors to donate $3,000 to a program in Honduras that Sean McGee of the Swanton Club was touting along to various clubs within the district. Well, 8 other clubs decided that they wanted to be part of that. Tiffin became the 9th club. I thought to myself, just think, $3,000 coupled with the $3,000 of the 8 other clubs, plus some matching monies from the Rotary Foundation, and all of a sudden, we had some real money doing some real good in a place that was really bad. To top it off, I decided to put my money where my mouth was and decided to go along purchasing airfare and hotel for the pleasure of going to San Pedro Sula, Honduras, which is listed at the time as the most dangerous city in the world. So dangerous, in fact, that another one of the Tiffin Rotarians that came, Gina Reuter, who's blonde, had to have her hair dyed dark because blondes are at a real risk for being kidnapped and held for ransom in Honduras. Our plans were to work up in the mountains for a week on a school that was being built by other clubs around the U.S. Unfortunately, heavy rains had made the roads up the mountain impassable for the 2-hour ride. So plan B was to continue work at a girls' orphanage in the city for a week. All of us from District 6600 did the basics to help give some dignity back to those 20 young ladies that ranged in age from 6 to 20. They were throwaway humans whose parents had dropped them off to this living facility that was hidden behind a 10-foot concrete wall perimeter topped with barbed wire, unable to care for them any longer. But once you were inside and that big steel door was closed and locked like a bank vault, you were in their home, and the girls treated it as such. Even though they did not speak any English whatsoever, you could tell that they were happy. They were happy even with no cell phones. They were happy even though they couldn't leave that facility easily without having an escort. They were even happy without a lot of the necessary common supplies of girls becoming young women. In that week, each of us had our job. We installed refurbished computers. We built and painted a concrete wall that was starting to bow out, in danger of falling and collapsing in the living quarters. We replaced the dirty, greasy screens in the eating quarters that required us to rip old screening material out and install new screens with new spline using a spline rolling tool. Now, spline is that rubber stuff that goes in when you put a screen in to hold it in. Well, finding a spline tool here at Home Depot or at Lowe's is very easy. The most dangerous city in the world is not that easy, because the True Value store in San Pedro Sula, like most stores there, are guarded by a man standing out in front of it with a sawed-off shotgun with very visible shells in his belt. And when you walk in, people pull out their pistol, they hand it to an employee who gives them a tag like you just handed them a nice hat. They open up the 12 by 12 inch locker that normally is used to put a pair of shoes in. They deposit the gun and they give you the tag, and off you go to shop. When you're done, you come and you pick it back up, you put it back in your pants, and out you go. Gina, being the only female on the trip, helped the girls and the older female employees clean out, repaint, and install new fluorescent lighting in the dark, moldy, bat, rat, or mouse feces-infested room that was filled with food. She then took them all on a shopping trip to buy clothes, shoes, and yes, those much needed and much desired hygiene products that they were lacking. They came back from their trip giddy with laughter. Gina was their BFF. Being kind of a handy man, I got the job of repairing a water pump that was supposed to kick on when the city water system failed, which was about twice a week. The pump had not worked for 2 years. In the sleeping quarters, there was a bathroom shower area with 5 toilets that were lined up side by side by side. 2 of the 5 had not worked over the last year. I offered to take on the challenge to help out. Most of the repairs were minor in nature, and within a day and a half, all 5 seats were working. But it was there, on my back, under a toilet, in the most dangerous city in the world, with 3 Spanish girls staring down at me, trying to figure out what tool it was I was asking for, had smiles on their face because I had just given them something special. I felt like I had just given them a puppy on Christmas morning, but they were smiling because the last of their toilets flushed. The most basic thing in the world, and they were grateful. At the end of the week, we threw a pizza party for all the girls and the staff. They were dressed up and acted like it was their high school prom. But more importantly, they created a poster with all our names on it and messages that were in English. But the one message that stood out to me and most of our team was very simple. It said, "Thank you for the attention." Did we personally save a life during that week? No. But as Rotarians, we made the lives of those girls more livable. More importantly, they gave me a gift. They gave me a huge gift. They made me realize why I am a Rotarian. I truly believe that deep down, every human being has the desire to give back, to make the world a better place. Some do it in a relatively small way, like going and buying blankets or food or detergent, and they bring it to the local humane society. That's no less important than anything else. Some see a family trying hard to make ends meet and quietly, with no attention brought on themselves, ask the waitress to hand you their check, and you pay for their meal and leave before they even know you did it. But you feel good. It's a very selfless act. My dear Rotarians, being a member of Rotary can help you attain that same feeling that I received nearly 6 years ago. And by getting involved in your club and getting involved in your district. I know right now things are very discombobulated. Are we meeting in person? Are we doing a Zoom meeting? Are we doing a Zoom meeting and meeting in person, which is now called a hybrid meeting? Things will continue to be in flux for the foreseeable future. But at some point, that pendulum will level off and the new normal will settle in. At that time, you'll be able to get back to your fundraising and your meetings and your hugging and your handshaking and your fist bumping and whatever form of expression you show to each other. I was in San Diego back in the beginning of January for what is called the International Assembly. It's the last piece of the governor-elects from all over the world meet in one place. Multiple languages, interpreters, native dress, all listening to the same message. At the time, Rotary International President-elect, and now Rotary International President, Holger Kanak, spoke and unveiled the theme for this Rotary year. After an inspiring speech about all that Rotary has to offer, things like friendship and professional development, training, and leadership skills, and the ability to travel, and so many others, he exclaimed in his German accent the theme, Rotary opens opportunities. We all cheered as the logo of the 3 doors that many of you have already seen appeared on all the big screens across the hall. Those doors represent the 3 facets of what we are. We are the Interact, Rotaract, and Rotary that you're a member of. Little did President Holger realize that at that moment, less than 6 weeks later, his theme was more important than ever. Because to me, those doors now reflect Rotary its past, its COVID present, and eventually post-pandemic future. We have opportunities behind us that we may have missed out on. We have opportunities beyond that we won't know until the future comes on how we're going to react to them. But we also have opportunities laying in front of us today. Opportunities on how not only to maintain our clubs by making sure any new member is right for our club, but also that we are right for them. We've all taken in new members because they had a pulse and their temperature was 98.6. And in a year, they were gone. We did a poor job of introducing them into what Rotary is. Yes, it's a nice place to make business contacts. Yes, it's sometimes a nice place to have lunch. And yes, it's sometimes you're lucky you'll get a good speaker. But how do we keep them? Because Rotary gives them something they get no place else. How do we make your club meaningful to them by finding that switch within them that makes them want to say and feel, I truly can make a difference in my family, in my community, and in my world? That's a culture only you can build within your club. But you need to start it now so that your members and you see the value in being a member to the #1 service organization in the world. This year, I challenge each and every club in our district to an opportunity. For as long as we can all remember, we look each year to places around the world where we can help make their lives healthier and safer. This Rotary year is different. This Rotary year, we turn and we look at ourselves. I have asked the foundation of District 6600, that's headed up by past district Governor Deb Cheney, to put together a program that I called the We Are One Community Grant Program. The program will be using easier forms that have all been redesigned by a very, very busy group of individuals. Those forms will allow and make it easier for all clubs, whether you're the size of the Toledo Club with 400 plus members or little Cardington, Ohio that has 8, sometimes 6. You'll have an opportunity to apply for funds, matching grant monies to be used alongside other organizations in your town, if you choose to do so, to help out the people, the businesses, the schools recover both mentally and fiscally from the devastation of COVID-19. I ask clubs to sit down via Zoom, if not in person, and brainstorm what can be done in your town to help others. Now, the details have yet to be released on exactly what you'll fill out and how it will go about, but they'll be coming very shortly. And there'll be a workable deadline that will be well promoted to give you time to apply and talk to others in the community. It's just a one-year program, that's all. This year will be a year of opportunities. I also ask that you look to other service groups, Kiwanis, Lions, a foundation, maybe even a corporation that would want to join in on whatever program you come up with. This will be a year of fun and learning because I hope to take you all back to the basics, where you can all learn why we do global grants or what a RIPE is, which is a Rotary International President-elect. Again, acronyms. It will also be fun because it's the 5th line of the 4-way test, in case you didn't know that. It all starts in Findlay on August the 14th at the Hancock Hotel with our district installation. A time to come together. And for those of you that don't know, I am a radio guy with a rock and roll past, and I'm a rock and roll guy from deep, deep down, from the Motor City. And so Come Together was the perfect theme for that first get together. We'll all be under the rules and regulations of the state of Ohio. We'll keep everybody safe. We'll have different ways of being able to identify whether you're one that likes someone coming up to you or whether you'd rather just kind of stand back in the background, because you'll have a different colored lanyard that'll identify you as such. So we'll have as much fun as you want or as little fun as you want, but we want to have a time where we actually see our friends again. And we recognize the work that happened last year and the things that we plan on doing this next year. Our year will conclude with a district conference April 22nd through 24th in 2021 at the Key Center Marriott in downtown Cleveland. We'll have international speakers, we'll have Rotary International executives, we'll have breakout sessions for club leaders, but more importantly, we'll have inspiration and sessions for people that are just a member of a club that just want to learn a little bit more and maybe have a little fun. But I am also a rock and roll guy, as I said. The weekend conference will kick off on Friday night, April 23rd, where we will have Rotary Rocks 2021. Where else? We've rented out the entire Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in downtown Cleveland, which is just a short walk from the hotel. And even more importantly, we're going to be inviting, because we've been asked if they want to come, the different districts throughout the state of Ohio and southeast north of here, Michigan. So join us there. You'll hear more details as we get closer to that. Finally, I want to address the social injustice issue that is so pervasive in our society today. This is not just about George Floyd. In fact, what I find even more abhorrent than the police officer that snuffed George Floyd's life out were those officers that stood around and did nothing. That to me was unconscionable. but our society has lost many of its shades of gray. I used to own a photo lab in the photo business, and I know that when you take one color and you combine it to another, you get a third color and a fourth color. Well, I know that when you have black and you have white, in the middle you have gray. In our society today, there is no gray. And I'm not talking about race at all. I'm saying if you're black on the black side, and again, I'm not talking about race, or you're on the white side, none of you believe anything the other person says. And it hasn't always been that way. We need to learn to accept the beliefs of other people. We need to learn to accept those shades of gray. Some people think that they're okay to post things on Facebook and LinkedIn and other Instagram with their own personal feelings about the way life is today in society. If that's primarily a link filled with Rotarians, it has no place there. If you want to put that on your own personal Facebook page or Instagram page, go right ahead. But if it's a link full of Rotarians, please take it off. And if they want to come to your page, they will. I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you. And if there's anything that I can do or any member of our team in District 6600 during this year, I would be more than happy to help. And I would open it up to any questions if anyone has any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith. Anybody have any questions?
I would say if anybody has any grant questions, you can ask me.
Chris is a very integral part of the assemblage of all this material to put this together. Anybody else? Fry, Bueller?
Keith, what's the grant deadline?
We haven't established that publicly yet. When it's established, it will be established and you will see it in front of your face almost each week. And you'll know that so that we can count down. If you're going to apply, you need to get your application in. We're also going to allow clubs to opt out. And we want, if they truly do not want to be part of it, they'll opt out. And what does that do? It allows us to make the pool a little bigger.
Perfect. So we'll just keep an eye on it, unless you want to tell me and my 21 closest friends here, just a little secret. You can.
Well, we really, to be real honest, Chris, can you attest to this? It's not all firmed up in terms of what dates are, but it is kind of, and we'll be releasing that soon.
Yeah, this is complicated because we've simplified the process, and extracting yourself from the Evanston requirements is not simple. But I would think that with it, by the end of July, we'll have something out there that will tell you initially an estimate of what the funds are currently available, when the applications have to be submitted, which would probably be sometime starting mid-August, I think, although that's not permanent, with a final acceptance date for applications for this specific program due sometime either the end of September or in the beginning of October, with the decision-making process as soon after that as we can do it. In all fairness to Deb, she will then have to take all of the information that we have assembled and prepare essentially a global grant request from the Rotary Foundation for the funding. So I think that probably the grants will probably be acknowledged, I would say, late this year, but the funding we hope by January. That's just because of the way in which the Evanston Foundation works. You have to apply for exactly the amount of money that you're going to get, and then you have to report the expenditure of that exact amount. I've been doing this for 20 years and I still need a good stiff drink from time to time. Anybody has any questions? I'm always here.
Thanks, Chris. Any questions for Keith?
I don't know if Allison was raising her hand or just swatting a fly away.
Just waving.
Oh, okay. All
But
right, well, thanks.
I was just gonna say, I do hope that some people will come on August 14th. I'm definitely gonna be there, so it'll be fun to have a table with people from Perrysburg. So please join us.
Yeah, I will probably go.
Cool.
It's just so you know, it's at the Hancock Hotel, brand new hotel that Marathon built about 2-3 years ago. There is a Mancy's restaurant inside, and all of you know Mancy's, and the food is prepared by them. So if you like steak, it's a wonderful place. Oh, and there are room, if you want to stay overnight, we have a special room rate. I believe it's like $119.
Man.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I know you may have some other things you need to do, so I'll just mute.
Thank you, Keith. Great message. I do want to remind everybody that we do have a new member proposal out there. The information is on the newsletter Ashley sent out earlier this week. Barring any objection in writing to Club Secretary Wayne by July 23rd, he will be inducted into membership. So just wanted to put that out there. Does anybody have anything else they want to, we have a few minutes. Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss while we're together?
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question for Allison, or Ashley rather. I went to sign on the Perrysburg Rotary Club site and I found that it had all been changed. Did they actually update all of that? Because I went to look for your phone number specifically and there's nothing there. I don't get any club roster or anything.
Club Runner did have an update. I think around the 1st of July. So it is, the interface is completely different looking. My phone number though is on my email address stamp. So.
Oh, okay. I was trying to, I mean, I tried to sign on at 11:45 and actually the email you sent out for this address says 710 and not 717.
Yeah. There was a mix up today, but I think we have it all figured out.
Yeah, I have old man problems.
Okay. More concerning is that Chris Vogel is going to be calling you, Ashley.
I can always decline.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be the first, probably not the last.
All right, Chris, since you're on a roll, Chris, would you like to lead us in the 4-way test?
Oh, sure. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it
Will better friendships
Will it be beneficial
to all concerned?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Be safe.
Where is Allison? Where are you, Allison?
Oh, I'm in
Tragic
northern
City.
Michigan. I'm in Traverse City. Look there.
Oh, wow. That's a good place to be.
Yes, it has. We've had great weather. We've only had one rainy day, and it's great. Masks are totally required up here everywhere, but not outside, so that's good. But it's been good. Everybody's been nice and safe, and it's been nice to get away a little bit.
I'll enjoy.
Have a good weekend.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Tammy, safe travels home.
Thank you, Joni. Bright and early tomorrow. We're flying out.